For basically all of human history, our world has been shaped by one single fundamental problem: scarcity, right? Not enough food, not enough energy, not enough, well, anything. But what if that problem just went away? What happens when technology finally creates a world of abundance? This isn't some far-off science fiction anymore. So in this explainer, we're going to dive into what an economy of abundance actually looks like, and we're going to uncover the surprising new rules that come along with it.
I mean, just let that sink in for a second. The source material kicks things off with this incredible vision, a future where that core, grinding struggle for survival is just over. Not because of war or sacrifice, but because of compounding intelligence and an abundance of energy. This really sets the stage for one of the most profound shifts our species has ever, and I mean ever, faced.
So, the big question is this for real? Is that age-old battle against scarcity actually finally coming to an end? Well, the argument we're about to explore says that, yeah, the groundwork has already been laid.
And look, this isn't just wishful thinking. The source argues that the foundational pieces are already falling into place. The technological engines are already running. It's not a question of if this happens, but when, and more importantly, how we're going to adapt to it.
The real power behind this shift comes from how three huge trends are feeding into each other. First, we've got energy costs just plummeting thanks to renewables. Then you have computing power getting exponentially cheaper. And the real kicker? The ability to copy and share knowledge for basically free. These three things together, well, they're the engines of this new abundance.
And this is where things get tricky because it creates a fundamental mismatch. Our technology is roaring ahead, creating all this abundance. But our economic and social systems, our governments, our companies, you name it, they're all designed for a world of scarcity. They just haven't caught up yet. And that's where the real challenge begins.
Now, you might be thinking, great, a world of abundance means no more limits, right? A total free-for-all. But it's not that simple. It turns out abundance isn't chaos. It has its own set of rules, and they're very, very different from the ones we're used to.
This right here is the core idea. We don't get rid of problems, we just change what the problems are. The bottleneck in the system doesn't disappear, it just moves. It's like we've solved for the scarcity of things, only to discover a whole new set of challenges we never even saw coming.
So let's break that down. For centuries, the entire economy was held back by not having enough workers, or enough money, or enough physical stuff. Simple. But in this new world of abundance, the bottlenecks shift to totally different things, like our ability to coordinate really complex systems, or our methods of governing ourselves, or our capacity to even build trust at a massive scale.
The source calls these new rules governing constraints. And I just love this analogy. They're like Newton's laws of physics for an economy. They're these fundamental forces that you can't just ignore or wish away. They are the deep mechanics of this new system, and if you don't understand them, you're going to have a bad time. Okay, so if the game has completely changed, what do these new bottlenecks actually look like in the real world? Let's dig into one of the most counterintuitive rules of an abundance economy.
This is the Jevons paradox. It's a fascinating idea that completely flips your intuition upside down. You would think that making something more efficient means we use less of it, right? Makes sense, but history shows that weirdly, the exact opposite is often true.
The classic example is the steam engine. When James Watt made it way more efficient, it needed less coal to run. But did Britain's total coal consumption go down? Nope, it skyrocketed. Why? Because suddenly, cheap steam power unlocked countless new uses, powering factories, driving trains, which created an explosion in demand that just dwarfed the original efficiency gains.
Now let's apply that to today. Think about AI. As AI makes thinking tasks cheaper, we don't just do the same stuff for less money. No way. We invent entirely new jobs, we create more customized services, we build way more complex systems. So efficiency doesn't lead to simplicity. It actually leads to an explosion of complexity and, you guessed it, brand new coordination challenges.
So, this explosion of automated productivity brings up a huge, huge social question. If machines are doing more and more of the actual work, how does all the value they create get distributed? I mean, who actually gets to benefit from all this?
You know, for a long time, there was this deal. As a company or a country got more productive, workers' wages went up. It was kind of the core bargain of the whole economic model. But automation is really starting to strain that link. Now, a company's output can shoot up without needing a lot more human workers. And the result is this big structural shift. A growing slice of the economic pie is going not to people's wages, that's labor, but to capital, to the people who own the assets, the stock, the intellectual property, the AI models themselves. This is a really fundamental change.
So this all leads to a new economic reality. In a world powered by automation, what you own becomes way more important than what you do. The money flows to the owners of the systems that create value, not just the people who happen to be working inside them. And this creates a massive coordination problem. See, the old loop was pretty simple. Jobs created income, and that income created demand for all the stuff being produced. But if that loop starts to break, how do you keep the whole system from grinding to a halt? How do people buy all the things the robots are making?
And this is exactly why you're suddenly hearing intense debates around ideas like universal basic income, or UBI, negative income taxes, or other models for spreading capital and ownership around more broadly. These aren't just fringe ideas anymore. They are serious attempts to solve this new structural problem of how you connect production to demand in a highly automated world.
So after all that, where does this leave us? I mean, solving the problem of material scarcity is huge, but it doesn't solve everything. In fact, it kind of raises the most important question of all. What do we choose to become when we no longer have to be useful just to survive?
This quote, I think, just nails the change in mindset that's required here. For thousands of years, our societies were built on this zero-sum competition for things that were scarce. An economy of abundance actually creates the foundation for a positive-sum world, where real value comes from connection, creation, and collaboration.
This is such a powerful vision for the future, isn't it? Imagine a world where your status isn't about how much stuff you can hoard, but about how much you contribute, where the heroes are the people who teach and heal and explore and build beautiful things, not for profit, but just because they can.
And ultimately, this is the promise. Technology can finally free us from the grind, from that daily calculation of survival that has occupied humanity since the very beginning. It frees us up for the things that only humans can do, to dream, to create, to connect with each other, and to ask the really big questions. But here's the thing. This future isn't guaranteed. It's not just going to happen. It requires us to make deliberate choices about ownership, about what we value, and about what kind of society we want to build. Are we going to build a world where the benefits of all this abundance are shared broadly, or one where they're just concentrated in the hands of a few? As the source says, the answer to that is still very much in our hands.